Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. And if you're joining for the first time, this is part of our industry series, for which we meet every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We review one vendor or the solution. And for today, today is a very special day because I don't know whether you guys followed the news or not. Smartsheet just got acquired, and we are reviewing them. And it got acquired for, can you guess, guys? $8.4 billion with a B. Can you believe this?
Who bought them?
Private equity. So they were public. Private equity, Vista Equity, as well as Blackstone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting discussion. We have been reviewing their competitors, and they are fairly well positioned. All of them evenly positioned, I would say, overall in terms of their revenue growth, market positioning, fairly even. So very exciting space. A lot is happening. So we are going to have a lot of fun discussing that. Before we do that, we are going to start with everybody's intros. I'm going to start with my quick intro. Sam Gupta, principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the ERP CRM digital transformation consulting firm. On that note, Andy, would you like to introduce yourself next?
I would love to. Thank you again, Sam, for inviting me. I always have fun. My name is Andy Pratico. I've been involved in ERP software for basically for small to mid-sized manufacturers for all my life, which is a long time. And before Sam was born.
Yeah, much before.
Anyways, I worked all over North America, probably well over 1,000 manufacturers in my career. And I have a published book on how to select ERP without losing your mind or losing your job.
Yeah, and we are always honored to have Andy here. He was selling ERP even before when ERP was born. That's how.
Back when it was still called MRP and then MRP2. Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Exactly. Crazy. All right. Shrestha, do you want to introduce yourself next?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Hi, everybody. My name is Shrestha Dash, and I'm part of the marketing team at Elevate IQ. And I'm looking forward to learn a lot today.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And if you are in the audience joining for the first time, make sure you guys post your questions, comments, stories. We always try to incorporate them as part of the reviews. It's always interesting to see what you guys are noticing from your perspective. So looking forward to reviewing those. On that note, guys, I'll start with the quick briefing of this solution. And Andy, Shrestha, both of you, I believe, had joined Monday.com as well as Airtable, right? Shrestha, you missed one of those, I believe, right? Or
Yeah, I think I attended Monday.com.
Okay.
The one before that, I have not.
Okay, perfect. So this one is going to be very similar as well overall, I would say, in terms of the capabilities. So for the most part, their positioning is very similar. There are going to be some nuances in terms of how they are different. Their target market is going to be just slightly different. But overall, they are trying to do very similar things. So again, the category that they are trying to attack, and this is a very new category that they had to create because this was different. This was really different, not marketing different. So that's why they had to come up with a new category called either collaborative project management or adaptive project management, those two categories. And Smartsheet is definitely a big contender in that. In fact, I guess one thing that we noticed, Andy, I don't know whether you recall this or not, Monday.com was there in the market since 2010, I believe. I would think that Airtable is probably the newest. Smartsheet is probably closer to Monday.com or probably the oldest. So they have been in the market for a very long time. Okay, so obviously overall in terms of the packaging from the positioning perspective, their positioning is going to be collaborative project management, adaptive project management. So some of the components that are going to be part of the solution is going to be the whole ad hoc workflow automation. These are not these solutions would not be great fit for transactional processes, the core operational processes that are going to be captured by your ERP, CRM, the transactional systems. Generally, these processes are going to be in and around those systems. And the major part of this is they are bringing that collaboration aspect, which was sort of missing. It was done by very clunky technologies, and the technologies were so clunky that nobody really used them. So there was not much of the collaboration, I guess. So now these guys are changing that. The next thing that these guys are really changing, and I don't know what is going to happen to this market, to be completely honest. Whether they are going to become the next Microsoft Salesforce, there is a possibility. Just purely based on the market valuation, it's just mind blowing. And obviously they are attacking the market share of Google as well as Microsoft. The core bread and butter for Microsoft was always Windows, Microsoft Office. That's where they still have a lot of market share. They are going to have in Azure as well, but for the most part, the apps and the Windows is where their major market share is even today, and that's what they are disrupting. So it's going to be very interesting to see where these offerings land up, because right now, if Vista Equity, they have acquired at 8.4 billion, and Blackstone is involved as well. So their goal is going to be to do at least 5x, I guess. And how are they going to do 5x is going to be a question, right? That's what private equity is really, really good at. So most likely they are going to consolidate a lot of different things. They might be introducing a lot of different offerings from the AI perspective. Obviously AI is going to have a good play here. And then there is a real threat for some of the traditional CRM players as well in the market. So there might be some challenges there as well for those companies. So overall, I guess in terms of the capabilities, these guys are going to have the workflow automation that I was talking about, and then they are going to have forms. Those forms are going to help overall from the collaboration perspective. So a lot of customer experience software, I would say, not customer service, customer experience software, that we had in the past. What they were doing is just the survey and collecting data, etc. All of that, a lot of that is going to be done by Smartsheet. That is already done by these tools. So that's where I think the real power is of these tools. And then obviously the board and sheets automation, etc. All of those things are going to be part of the capabilities. For the most part, this is going to be better spreadsheet. So better spreadsheet overall in terms of the collaboration. Again, very similar positioning as Monday.com or Airtable. If you have watched those episodes, then you are going to find very similar layers that we have touched on. One of the areas that these tools seems to be disrupting is going to be BI. So traditional BI is probably going to change, and that is probably one area that these guys can easily replace. Or the traditional BI is probably going to be slightly more bloated, just like this. So it's going to be a very interesting play in the long term. Where BI is going to fall, whether it will be bundled as part of these tools or it's going to be different. Now, some differentiator, I would say, from the Smartsheet perspective. So one thing that we had noticed with Monday.com, they were primarily known in the project management community for the most part. Airtable was more into the creator community. Airtable, my recollection is that they were doing, and Andy, remind me if I'm missing something. I think you guys were part of that discussion, right? So they are doing a lot of work in the PIM space, as well as the digital asset management. They had a lot of different capabilities that were aligned to that. For example, the tagging capabilities, that was one that I remember. And then they were doing these parts for the community, overall from the collaboration perspective, for the event management as well. So that was very unique to Airtable. They had some of the shiny features as well. For example, they had the whole webcam clip thing, which is a very shiny feature. It's not very powerful, but for the creator community, I guess, if you are in the PR or if you're in the media industry, you are a researcher, then those features could be a great fit for you, especially if you have to collect a lot of data and then finally you have to schedule accordingly depending upon whatever research that you might be doing. So we saw those features. But surprisingly enough, I mean, you would think that Smartsheet is probably going to be focused on the project management space, but they also have big presence in the creator community. Okay, they have acquired a lot of companies in the past, and they seem to have a lot of capabilities. I would say the real capabilities, not just what they have built, but a lot more than that, for the creative community as well. So I would say Airtable as well as your Smartsheet is probably going to be positioned for creator community. Monday.com and Smartsheet, they are going to be primarily.
Excuse me, Sam. Would you describe to me what you mean by creative community, please?
Creative community is going to be your designers, the media industry, the movie producers, the directors, uh,
Yes.
you know
Okay.
so
That's what I thought.
everybody that is in the creative space, they are doing some sort of creative work. Marketing, designing, as well, I would say, would fall under that. Yeah. Okay, so the background is very similar. Again, these guys are trying to replace either G Suite or the traditional project management software. That is going to be your Atlassian. Jira is the one that is being disrupted here. For the most part, the Asanas of the world, they are probably being disrupted. But if you are looking for slightly more formalized project management software, then you still have to go for Jira, Asana. Here on top of this, you have to build a lot. So there's going to be substantial consulting effort, even though they are going to claim that, it's all easy, anybody can figure this out, but still you would require a lot of consulting help. Even if you can figure out the technical stuff, the enabling business process is very difficult, especially if you're looking for budgeting, etc. You have to figure out resourcing, and if you don't necessarily have the software development background, then you would definitely struggle. Then you have some of the competing technologies, and again, they are going to be very similar to your Monday.com Airtable, which is your Salesforce, HubSpot of the world, Creatio, Zoho. They are touching very similar spaces, but I think the focus is very different overall of these technologies. I would say Zoho is probably going to be the closest competitors for these guys, and the reason for that is because they have a lot of capabilities out of the box. They are doing a lot of custom apps, they are providing the whole IT infrastructure, and these guys are trying to provide that IT infrastructure as well, especially for the software development team. For some reason, I think everybody's trying to go after software development. I think that's where the money is. So all of these companies are trying to attack the same space. Then the other project management tools that I have mentioned, these are formalized project management tools. They are going to have much more formal processes than your ad hoc processes that you're going to find with your Monday.com, Airtable, etc. So here, let's say if you don't want to invest into consulting, if you don't want to model all of that and figure out, okay, how your data model is going to be, how your process model is going to be, then you should go for formalized project management, because again, figuring that out on a very ad hoc software is very, very, very difficult. It will require substantial consulting help. But let's say if you're in a space where you just don't know what you don't know, if that is the case, if you're going to have very ad hoc processes, then this could be a great fit. But it's never easy, guys, and that we are going to notice in reviews as well as some of the case studies once we review the comments.
On your screenshot, you have the one that's standing right out in front, says campaign dashboard.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're looking at it from a project management standpoint.
Yeah, I think they are depending upon the campaign that they might be doing. I think these are marketing campaigns, and they are trying to display that, okay, they can probably do marketing campaigns as well. But I don't believe that is the intent here. For the most part, what you would do is you would probably utilize another CRM software. You would do campaigns there, and then you might be gathering data here to be able to summarize. Because at the end of the day, Andy, I mean, I think Airtable was using the term database. It is kind of used as a database, but it is not a database because it's a spreadsheet. Database is going to be far more structured. If I remember correctly, Monday.com had used the term called no schema. No schema meaning no structure underneath, meaning wild west. Okay, so you're not going to have any sort of data integrity. But again, if you prefer Lowe's model, then this could be a great fit. Just don't expect data integrity here, because these tools are not necessarily designed for those, and that's why you are getting that fluidity. Overall in the model, you can do whatever you want, but there are no rules, I guess. In the model is where the problem is. So again, some of the competitors, the closest competitors that you're going to find are going to be, again, airtablemonday.com, they are the closest. And then ClickUp and Notion, they are targeting the similar category as well. They have slightly formalized model compared to your Smartsheet, which is just a blank slate. You are going to find a lot more functionality with ClickUp and Notion. So they are sort of taking that middle of the ground approach, or middle of the road approach, I guess that's probably the right expression. The formalized plus the ad hoc model, both of them. And obviously, these guys also have the whole documentation workflow. So some of the workflows, such as your contract lifecycle management, etc., will be automated using that. They are going to be much easier to implement, I would say, if you want to implement those. Then you have the workflow automation. And again, the challenge with some of these workflow automation platform we had been discussing is that, for example, let's say if you go with Microsoft is going to have much more robust, sophisticated security model, and sometimes that could be a bottleneck for a lot of people. The reason why people like Monday.com Smartsheet is because they like the fluidity of the security, but at the same time you are going to find complaints from the users, and that we are going to find in the reviews, because the security is really, really half-baked at this point of time. It's not even as robust as Google right now. If you look at Google Docs, where if you have to share security of the whole folder, they don't have those features right now. And if you ask these guys, okay, they are going to say that, you know what, I'm working on enterprise features. For them, enterprise features are sharing the access for a folder. Can you believe this? That's how primitive, the capabilities are for these companies. But again, people love it, and they have very, very, very high valuation. And the only reason why they have so high valuation is because people are paying for this, and they are paying a lot, and they don't realize how much they are paying. Then you have things such as Boomi Flow, which I don't know if they are really comparable. And you are going to find we have one case study for Boomi as well as part of our presentation today, that Boomi is actually utilizing Smartsheet. So if Boomi Flow was comparable to your Smartsheet, I don't know why they would use it. So it's probably not comparable. It's probably a different product. So again, very, very, very interesting categories. All of them are slightly different depending upon the use case, etc. But again, if you're looking for very easy to implement software, then obviously Smartsheet is going to be a great fit. Overall, in terms of the industries, one of the industries where you're going to find major focus for a Smartsheet is going to be in the energy and utility space. And the reason why you have such penetration in the energy and utility space is because, number one, the project management is a nightmare. The quoting estimation is a nightmare in these industries. You don't necessarily have much of the ERP penetration in these industries, is because the processes are just so ad hoc. Even if you look at very, very, very simple joint venture arrangement between two companies, they are done on the back of the napkin. That's how bad they are. There is no structure on those legal arrangements, and sometimes they could be very hard to accommodate as part of your ERP process. And that's why software such as Smartsheet are a great fit for those industries, and that's where they are winning a lot. So energy, utility, media, we saw with your airtablemonday.com as well. Airtable had a lot more presence there, because they are really focused on that creative community. The Smartsheet is not as much, I would say. Even though they have a lot of exposure, they have been working on penetrating that community as well. Tech, telco, not-for-profit, marketing agencies, and entertainment, all of those are very common industries for monday.com as well as for Airtable as well. So I'll get going here unless you guys have any comments. Okay, so this is coming from their financial statement. Till today, I think they were a public company, but now they are not going to be a public company because they got acquired. So in this particular case, again, overall in terms of ARR, they are very similar. In fact, I mean, you are probably going to find commentary that they were probably the first company to hit 1 billion with a B in ARR. Smartsheet, can you believe this? I mean, my perception was that Monday.com was far more popular, Airtable was far more popular, but seems like Smartsheet was the first one. Even though you are going to find their UI to be slightly more legacy, that's the feel I get when I look at a Smartsheet. I was thinking that this is really popular in the project management community, but they're doing really well in the creative community as well, which is mind blowing. And these guys are going to.
It's interesting that companies like Workday spend so much money on marketing. Yet, I mean, Smartsheet's been around for a long time, but it's not really known in the public sector as much, but it's doing phenomenal.
So where is Workday coming from? You need to help me here, Andy. So in your comment, you mentioned Workday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you seeing Workday on this slide or?
No. Oh,
okay.
Oh. No.
Okay, so you are referencing this more from the public sector perspective, I guess, right? Okay.
Just you see it on TV, for crying out loud, right? But this is pretty impressive.
I see. Okay, so your comment is that, okay, you see Workday on TV, you see Monday.com on TV.
Monday.com on TV, yeah.
I don't think you have ever seen a Smartsheet, I guess, right?
No, never. I mean, obviously we're all familiar with what it is and how long it's been around, but no, never.
Yeah, so seems like Monday.com is trying to market for everybody. They are covering.
It's crazy. I mean, yeah, Monday.com even more so because their commercials don't even tell you what they do. It's all very soft sell.
Yeah.
Very emotional sell.
Yeah, and that's what is called creative marketing, Andy. You don't tell what you're selling. You just, get into that and then finally
just get people to like you.
Yeah, exactly. You are sort of showing the movie.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I was saying is that the other ones seem to do a lot more marketing. Yet look at how great these guys are doing.
Yeah. Very interesting. You are right. Actually, I've personally never seen, but maybe the marketing strategy is different, right? They are spending a lot more on
of course.
These guys may have a different strategy from the marketing perspective. Maybe they are probably spending the same amount of money. Maybe they are not getting as much ROI from the TV perspective. But yeah, I mean, TV, you are right. That Monday.com, I've seen those commercials even during probably NFL.
Yeah, I know.
It's wild.
Those are expensive commercials.
Yeah. But these guys are making money. I mean, they are printing money right now.
Yeah, they're all printing money.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I guess overall in terms of ARR, as you can see, so this is the FY25 revenue, and this is only quarterly, right? So this is only 276 million. So obviously they are close to more than a billion, right?
That's your billion right there.
Yeah, exactly. And this is second quarter F25, even though it reached. I think that's going to be the quarter that has already been done because their FY25 may be different than the regular FY25.
17% in a quarter?
What's that?
17% growth in one quarter, or is this quarter over last year?
I would say this may be quarterly growth. I think they are not clear here, so you might be right. They are saying second quarter FY25 revenue growth. So my guess would be that it is with previous quarter, I guess. But
wow, that'd be phenomenal
because they'll be explicit if they were doing quarter over quarter. Yearly, they'll have to mention that. So my understanding is going to be that this is quarterly growth. And obviously, I mean, it is used by, so they are saying 85% of the Fortune 500 companies. And again, that is used by PM organizations. It's super popular. Now they don't use Microsoft Project at all. They all are using, Smartsheet. For the most part, even though I have seen very sophisticated project managers complaining about the limitations of Smartsheet, that it does not have the same capabilities in terms of tracking those dependencies, etc. Microsoft Project had far more capabilities, but when it comes to collaboration, this is the deal. This is a real deal.
So it doesn't have, what did you say? I didn't catch what you said.
So with Microsoft Project, Andy, and I don't know how deeply you understand Excel. So in Excel, you are going to have a lot of different formulas. You can create dependencies. You can do crazy things with Excel. Okay,
Right,
Excel
of course.
is a very powerful program. So you had all of those features available as part of your Microsoft project as well. So let's say if you are very complex dependencies based on formula.
Oh, dependencies is the word
yeah.
you said.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So this was limited. I mean, it does not have the same formula, but again, it's different. It's different technology. It's web. So you are never going to have the same on-prem capabilities. And if people were doing this comparison with the web version of Microsoft, which is it sucks that nobody uses, I guess. And that's why these guys are super hot, because people are sort of trying to move away from desktop, and Microsoft is trying to move that as well. They
Wait a
don't
second,
want to.
don't say Microsoft Cloud sucks, because you're going to get a whole bunch of emails sent to you now.
Microsoft 365 cloud sucks. Okay, I'll be clear about that. Very, very, very clear about that. Okay,
All
they were
right, well,
never good.
watch your inbox now, Sam.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm calling out Microsoft here. I should not be doing that. I should be careful, Andy. Thank you.
That's right, I'm telling you. That's okay. That's
Okay.
We're
All
trying
right.
to be
I get
objective.
emotional.
That's all it is.
I get emotional when I do these sessions. You know me.
I know. I know. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So Smartsheet, the enterprise work, management platform, announced today that it has reached. So this is a very old announcement, I would say, but they had done 1 billion in ARR, and that's why their valuation right now is 8.4 billion as of today. Earlier, it Q4 a significant milestone in the company's history that comes on the heels of being named as a leader in the December 2023 Gartner Magic Quadrant for collaborative, work management. And again, all of the vendors are very, very, very evenly positioned. They have very similar ARR. So in my mind, I just don't see much of a difference between these three. They are saying when a Smartsheet began serving customers in 2006, so they have been in the market since 2006. Monday.com came around 2010, and Airtable is probably 2016. So Airtable is probably the newest, and they have already have more revenue or similar revenue as these guys. So who's the winner? So maybe these guys should be advertising a lot more on TV, and because these guys don't have the same revenue. Because for these guys, it took what since 2006. So what, 18 years? Monday.com is already there. Airtable is also there in probably what now, 8 years, I guess. So
considering that advertising on the NFL games is probably $2 million for 30 seconds, they better be getting a good return.
They are definitely getting it. If I were making $1 billion, I would definitely get there for these kind of software categories.
You're not making $1 billion?
Just short of that, Andy.
Just short.
Just short.
Yeah,
just short.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep going here. I don't have any other comments here unless you guys have.
No, that's great.
Okay, perfect. So this is the Gartner Magic Quadrant. Let's hit on that. Before we move on to some of the other comments that we have on this. So this is coming from 2023, by the way. And in 2023, they were ranked in that collaborative work management category. And again, this is a new category that they have created, and we already have at least 10 vendors that they are able to rank here, which is just mind blowing. And the category itself is probably not 2 year old. So we have a Smartsheet. We have Monday.com. We have Asana, which I don't know if they should be as part of the collaborative work management category. It's a different category, so I don't know why they are ranked so high. Yes, Asana, you can do a lot of collaboration as well, but again, that's slightly more formalized project management. If I were to compare this, then Asana is probably going to be comparable with ClickUp. ClickUp is going to be slightly more collaborative. I would say Notion is probably going to be even more collaborative. Asana is going to be slightly more legacy. So if you put them under the same bucket, then I don't know. The Reich, and I don't know if market share, etc., is probably a criteria here. So we have the vision, and they also have ability to execute. So those two factors, I guess, and based on those two factors, again, I would doubt. I mean, Asana, Reich, both are listed there. They both could be for collaborative project management, but they don't have the same capabilities. Smartsheets of the world, Pandit.coms of the world are not comparable with your Asana and Rike. They are very different piece of software. Now, Airtable is ranked behind, which is interesting. In my mind, I think they were closer, but they are ranked behind, at least in 2023. The shocking part is that you're going to find Adobe here. I don't know why you have Adobe. But Adobe does have a software that competes with these categories. And they were probably, and I don't know when they acquired that software. I think I don't know, it's called, and Shrestha, you might know this because you spend a lot more time in the creative marketing community, right? So what is that called? I guess Work Group or Workbench, something like that. It starts with work, but they were targeting the creative community much before these software started targeting. So Adobe does have very similar software. I don't know how capable that is. For the most part, the software that we have in Adobe portfolio, they are fairly legacy, except the whole creative suite, which is obviously very different, and that's their bread and butter. ClickUp should be there. ClickUp is, but these guys are saying that they are behind, which is very interesting. I would probably put ClickUp. Notion may be behind because Notion is probably a new player, so this is behind. They might not have as much market share, and I don't know if market share is going to be a factor. I've never heard of QuickBase, and Atlassian is there as well. Can you believe this? Atlassian is there maybe for Jira, and obviously these guys must be doing a lot of collaboration, software as well. So they are there too, but for the most part, they are the ones who are being disrupted here. Now, some more comments, and this is coming from their press releases, I believe. So this is in 2011. They are talking about its intuitive spreadsheet-like SaaS tool has become an increasingly popular choice for energy and utility companies around the world. So in 2011, they were selling to these companies, and that's where they started. So they had a lot more penetration there, and it makes perfect sense why these companies would use that, because they really needed that. Just like yeah, exactly. Just like Airtable was really used by media companies, the movie producers, all of those companies, because they had real pain before that. They were running on a spreadsheets. Even utility and energy companies, they were running on a spreadsheets. So this is a huge plus for those companies. Hundreds of organizations focused on renewable energy, gas, and oil exploration and production, power generation, energy retailing, reservoir projects, and more energy related services. So all of those energy centric industries as well as companies are using that. And then we have one of the acquisition announcement here coming from 2018. So this is the converse.ai, and they acquired this, which is a UK based pioneer in the field of intelligent bots for business automation. With these new capabilities, Smartsheet customers will be empowered with new natural language user experiences and sophisticated workflow automation that can link with no coding required across popular messaging platforms and business systems like Slack, Workplace by Facebook, Salesforce, Google, Vonage, HubSpot, and PayPal. So this is where I guess they got the real workflow capabilities. Before that, they probably were simply Sheet. That's how these platforms evolved. Initially, when they started as Board or Sheet, and then they developed some other capabilities as well. So this is probably the acquisition from where they got the workflow automation capabilities. Now we have one more announcement here coming from 2019. In 2019, they acquired a company called Turn Pro, and this is the makers of Slope, an application that makes it easy for teams to collaborate on and manage creative work. So in 2019, they started penetrating the whole creative space, because I think Airtable started in 2016. So they saw an opportunity for the creative space, and everybody started following, the creative space as well. But originally, they were designed for project management.
I'll bet their growth started taking off right about there.
In 2019?
Yeah.
I think they did this to respond to Airtable. That would be my take.
Oh, okay.
Because Airtable created a new market So they had to do something about it. They already had all of this. Now we have some more comments here. Our customers use Smartsheet for thousands of documented use cases. So they are talking about some of the use cases. They are talking about IT project management, business project management offices, service delivery, campaign management. And campaign management could mean a lot of different things. So I would think that they are probably simply gathering the data, not necessarily doing the real campaign management, but the real project management piece of the campaign management, then the real campaign management, the execution of campaigns. So there is a little distinction there, I guess, in those two. And then they are talking about creative operations, which is a new focus for them. And then mergers and acquisitions. I think they are really penetrated into the private equity space. And that could be another reason why Blackstone and Vista is really interested in that. Because most of the deal making is happening on a Smartsheet now. Okay, so one more announcement from 2019. So 2019, Smartsheet, the platform for enterprise achievement today, announced the availability of its extensions in private beta for Adobe Creative Cloud, Adobe Max. So they were trying to penetrate there. They were trying to create the integration. Again, this is happening 3 years after Airtable, so which is an interesting move. They really wanted to penetrate that market. So 2020, one more announcement here. The Smartsheet, the platform for enterprise achievement today, announced its partnership with Acumatica. So they are penetrating into ERP ecosystems as well, because Smartsheet is very heavily used in the ERP ecosystems too. So these guys announced partnership with Acumatica. We have not found any other. I think there is one more vendor that Smartsheet announced. I believe I saw QAD. But these guys are,
really, that's.
I think so. Because they
So
are.
what kind of a partnership with Acumatica is this?
Yeah, so this is going to be and I don't know, Andy, whether you know what is that product called, the whole spreadsheet product that Acumatica really likes to position. I forget the name of that product. There's one Excel sheet product. For example, let's say if you go to Info Epicor, they already had the Excel sheet workflow built. Let's say if you want to use Excel sheet as the interface, but the problem with Info Epicor was that they did not have these capabilities built as part of the UI itself. For example, let's say if you want to access some products may have, some products might not have, so depending upon the product that you're looking at, I guess could be different as well. But for the most part, the financial statements were not built as part of the product inside your Info Epicor. Acumatica NetSuite, they had financial statements built as part of the platform. But for, let's say, executives who prefer a spreadsheet, let's say if they need to do some sort of analysis in the spreadsheet as well, and they are sort of trying to make the live connection from the spreadsheet, they had to use an add-on for that. I forget the name. Acumatica really, commercializes that a lot, and that is very, very, very well built, for the most part. But then that add-on also does a lot of functions that an FP&A tool will do. So there is the whole community for CPM FP&A, and this spreadsheet add-on is trying to do that in the Acumatica ecosystem. So my understanding would be that the Smartsheet is probably trying to do very similar things as well, that they are trying to create the integration. And now, obviously, you are going to find in the user comments as well that the Smartsheet really struggles with the load. Let's say if you are going to have more than 10,000 records, it crashes. So it's not designed for those use cases. It's designed for very basic project management. It's not designed for CPM-like use cases. It just does not have those bells and whistles. So they are trying to provide the integration for the collaborative use cases. For example, let's say if you need to spin up quick portals, that could be a good use case for smartsheetmonday.com, with Acumatica integration. So again, Acumatica NetSuite, they are trying to bring as many vendors as possible that they integrate with pretty much everybody. And that's why Smartsheet wanted to be part of that ecosystem as well. And that's why they have created this integration. We have one, comment here. And thank you so much for joining. So he's saying that, Sam, I agree with you. Our 365 cloud, Excel on the web, is almost unusable compared to Google Sheets. And again, here, once you start using things like Smartsheet, Monday.com, then you are going to feel that Google Sheets is legacy. That's how fast time changes. Because Google Sheet was one of the most innovative platform, but they are now legacy probably because of these guys. Desktop Excel is excellent. I could not agree more. But now the problem with Microsoft is they are trying to balance both. They are trying to satisfy both users, and that's why that's the biggest challenge for them. They cannot simply rewrite their web version because they still need to satisfy their desktop users. One of these days they probably have to decide, but they have to provide very similar experience as Google, which is going to be very hard because their security is very bloated overall, and that's the reason why they are really struggling. But you are going to see this. The reason why people hate Atlassian, they used to love Atlassian before because of the whole security. They became enterprise. Okay, they became really bloated. So people want both. People want enterprise features. They want enterprise grade security, but they also want usability. They don't go hand in hand. Okay, you get one thing. So you really need to figure out, okay, what do you want? If you want enterprise security, please don't ask for a Smartsheet. It's not designed for that. The Smartsheet is going to become bloated. You all are going to hate in next 8 years. I guarantee this.
But now you watch, Mr. Newbar is going to get a ton of emails now too.
Yep, too many emails today, Andy. Too many emails. Now I'm getting emails from Blackstone. They are big.
Yeah.
They are a big deal. Okay. So one more announcement here. So they are saying 2020, they acquired one more, and they were being really aggressive for the creative community. So they acquired a company called Brand Folder, and Brand Folder was the market momentum for digital asset management. And digital asset management is going to be a category which is going to be completely disrupted. I guarantee this. Okay, because this can be very easily done inside the software. So the whole category is being disrupted. The traditional players, they were very clunky. Even Oracle had a lot of presence there. I think Oracle was very smart, and that's why they are not penetrating into that. And there is a possibility that these companies might end up acquiring one of these software because they need to get the piece of the pie. So I don't know who's going to acquire. My suspicion is going to be either Microsoft or Google. They would probably be the right candidate because this is a very consumerite software. It's not meant to be enterprise software. So this is going to be very, very, very interesting space to watch in general. But right now they are penetrating into DAM space. They are penetrating into PIM would not be the right category because PIM still requires the structured data. That's why these guys are not penetrating into product information management, even though it is not going to be as structured as your CRM or ERP, but that still needs to be very structured. DAM is probably the right category because the data does not need to be as structured. That's why they're able to do it. And you require a lot more collaboration with DAM. Okay, some more announcements here. So here, this is very interesting. Okay, 2020, they are saying the enterprise platform for dynamic work today announced Boomi, a Dell Technologies business, is leveraging Smartsheet to operationalize processes across finance, professional services, and executive reporting to reduce manual efforts, increase visibility, and accelerate time to value for customers and partners. And this is where I'm lost, guys. Okay, the reason why I'm lost is because we were always thinking that ServiceNow, Boomi Flow, these are going to be very comparable to your Smartsheet, but they are not. Even Boomi is not using their own product. Can you believe this? Okay, so obviously they are not supposed to be comparable. It's a very different category, and I don't know how successful Boomi Flow is, to be completely honest. They wanted to penetrate into that category because everybody was penetrating into workflow collaboration category, and they were into integration space, so it did make sense for them, but they are just not able to penetrate. And Dell is not the best company for Boomi, but they acquired, I don't know how. I don't think it is with Dell anymore. I believe. I think it's not part of Dell anymore. So this is the announcement of from 2020. So yeah, it's a different company.
Here's your comment about QAD.
Yeah, so they are doing something in QAD because again, QAD is a very data-centric, supply chain collaboration centric company, and that's why it would make sense to go with QAD as well. So here they are saying the enterprise platform for, and by the way, QAD is also owned by Thoma Bravo, I guess. I don't know if they were In 2020, they were there or not. So obviously, these companies are trying to find as much synergy as possible in their portfolio. Acumatica was, even today, I think it is owned by EQT. So all of these private companies, private equity companies, are trying to find synergy among their own portfolio, but they are also collaborating with other private equity companies, if they might have investment in those. So this is QAD. So Smartsheet is doing a lot more work in the ERP space because it was designed for sheet-centric workflows, project management-centric workflows. That's why you are seeing a lot more QAD in the ERP ecosystems. A leading provider of adaptive cloud management, cloud-based enterprise software and services for global manufacturing companies selected Smartsheet to help streamline COVID-19-driven processes and increase efficiencies for its global human resources department. So in this particular case, QAD used for its own internal purposes. QAD did not use this as part of the add-on offering the way Acumatica was using it. So it's a different use case, guys. So pay attention to that. Here, this is another comment coming from 2020. And here they are saying the enterprise platform for dynamic work today announced the general availability of Bridge, a no-code automation engine that streamlines business processes by enabling workflows across applications and systems of record. So again, this is the workflow automation piece. They didn't have that, so they developed that. Just because Monday.com and Airtable, they all had it, so they had to do it as well. So here they are saying enables organizations to build complex, high-value workflows across mission-critical platforms through a simple no-code user interface. Teams can reduce time spent on manual and repetitive tasks using workflows that are triggered to run based on various actions. Again, everybody has workflow automation engine right now, so I don't know what is so unique about that. The only thing that is unique about workflow automation here is that you can integrate your spreadsheet with enterprise-centric platforms, and that's where the whole collaboration piece is coming. Not only can you collaborate with your users, customers, vendors, partners, volunteers, influencers, but you can also collaborate with systems. So the whole collaboration piece, is very, very handy here. I don't have any other comments here. I'll keep going. If you guys have any other comments in the audience, please comment those. I would love to touch on those. Some more comments coming from 2020. So here the enterprise platform for, and they seem to be using that, marketing messaging, the enterprise platform for dynamic work. I guess today announced that organizations can now leverage 10,000 feet powerful resource management capabilities within Smartsheet dynamic work platform to optimize talent across teams and projects. So resource management was always a pain, to be completely honest. Even for very formal project management software, including your Jiras of the world, they were always using some sort of add-ons. They were never good at resource management. They were never good at the financial side of project management. They were only good at the I should not use the word collaboration. I should probably use the word operational side of the project management, which is going to be assigning tasks, tracking activities, etc. That's what they did. They never did the financial. They never did the collaboration aspect. So those are the two things. I would say the financial piece is going to be in slightly more PSA, ERP centric software categories, and then the collaboration is going to be in these categories. But in this particular case, they have some resource management capabilities, but again, you are not going to find, don't expect that you are going to get your budget cost, all of those financials. These software, they are not designed for that kind of data structure. You would require far more structure for your data for you to be able to get all of that. But if you're looking for very simple, project management software where you don't have to put as much effort in configuring your resources, configuring your projects, task should be quick, and the focus should be only on the, let's say, the project management teams, and they don't necessarily care for dollars. If that is the case, then these software could be a great fit. Some more comments here. Then they are talking about in 2020 as well. So they have two different no code platform. I don't know how many different no code platform they have. So here they are talking about work apps, and I think this is going to be more of the custom apps. So everybody's trying to get into the whole custom apps market as well, including Zoho. A no code platform that empowers users to build intuitive web and mobile applications that streamline business and simplify collaboration. So that was more of the integration aspect of the low code no code. This is more of the custom app, sort of low code no code. So they have two different modules for that. And then one of the unique thing that you are going to find with the Smartsheet always provided that desktop experience as well. I don't think we saw that with Monday.com or Airtable. They are never designed for that desktop experience because Smartsheet is a very legacy platform. They are still trying to please your legacy users, which are Microsoft project users. So they had to create the desktop experience. But in this case, the desktop experience is very different, right? Because for Microsoft, they first created the desktop product, and their web product is going to be just the shoehorned version of the web product. Here, what these guys are trying to do, they created the web product first, and then they have created the desktop centric interface that is hitting the web. So there is a difference between these two experiences. The experience is going to be superior on web with Smartsheet. The experience is going to be superior on desktop with Microsoft, just because these technologies are polar, very, very, very different. Okay, 2021 enterprise platform. Again, they are using the same messaging. So here, this is a case study. Probably Fox Sports Australia has selected Smartsheet to streamline broadcast planning. This is a very similar use case as your Airtable. So obviously, they are able to handle very, very, very high workloads. So here they are saying that, and again, Fox Sports is a big deal, guys. Okay, and they have roughly 1,000 live sporting events per year, guys. That's a big deal. They're able to plan that. But again, since the state is very disconnected, that's why they are able to do it, because for each use case, for each project, you are probably going to have separate spreadsheets. So it's not happening in the same database. It's not as connected as the other applications. That's why they are able to do it. But for the most part, this is a very high workload. What is the time right now? Do we have comments?
Yeah, we have 9.5 minutes.
Okay, if you guys don't have any comments, I'll keep going here. This is also coming from 2021. And here they had introduced some of the premium capabilities. So here they are talking about achieving process management at scale through Control Center. So they had the Control Center, and Control Center is a very common term in PMO. They had the Control Center, for PMO organizations. And then they are talking about many secure requests. We found secure requests with Airtable and Monday.com. I think they have already introduced that. They have dynamic view. Again, these are very basic capabilities, but even these capabilities were not available with these platforms. Then they are talking about plugging a Smartsheet into system of record like Jira and Salesforce with data connections. Again, most of the platforms such as your Monday.com, Airtable, they are probably going to have that. But these guys are slightly late, I would say, in that integration piece. You are bringing all of that data inside, Smartsheet. Again, if you're doing slightly more portal-centric use cases, then it would make sense. Otherwise, I don't know why you would bring this data, and create dashboards here, unless this is going to be a very ad hoc project. Then they are talking about creating intelligent workflows to automate business processes across platforms with Bridge. And again, that's where the power is going to be in integrating all of these business processes across the platforms. But please, 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 please don't try to create CRM inside this. Don't try to create ERP inside this. That's not the intent of the platform. It is designed for very ad hoc use cases. And then they are talking about multi-level security, including around-the-clock monitoring, physical security, data encryption, user authentication. And again, that is more of the data center security. Their security is still very weak, that you are going to find in their user reviews. Overall security is very, very weak right now, for the enterprise use cases. And when I say enterprise use cases, I'm not talking about ERP-centric use cases. I'm talking about slightly more Google Docs-centric enterprise use cases. They are competing in that space. Then they have adding powerful governance and administration capabilities through Admin Center. I don't have any comment there on that. Um, there is resource management comment again, that they have acquired that whatever 10,000 feet, that is providing resource management. Um, this is a comment on the case study, I would say. So Special Olympics is the company. They are dealing with roughly 5.7 million people with intellectual disabilities in 200 countries. Um, and they have managed their work using combination of spreadsheets and email. That's what they were doing before. So even these large organizations were primarily on the spreadsheet, etc. And that's exactly what they are trying to replace. So again, very similar use cases, Monday.com, Airtable, there's no difference here. Some comment overall, with their digital asset management capabilities. The difference between this product, Smartsheet, and Airtable, the difference that you're going to find is Airtable is going to have native experience. These guys acquired, products such as your brand folder. That's how they are able to enable their DAM capabilities. So the experience is going to be very different. I don't know which is going to be better. That you need to evaluate yourself. Overall, I guess from the UX perspective, from the integration perspective, probably Airtable is going to be better. But these guys are going to have slightly more mature capabilities, I would say, for the digital asset management. And the reason for that is because this tool was already pre-built used, as your DAM. So you are going to get a little natural feeling, I would say, in using that. But again, this is a acquired product. This is not a natively built product. I don't have any other comments here. Do you want to do one more spreadsheet, one more slide, or comments?
Yeah, let's go one more slide.
Okay, one more slide. Okay, one more slide here. So this is coming from 2022. So this is also acquisition. So here they are talking about brand management, templating, and creative automation platform outfit. And obviously, they are acquiring a lot, deepening the company's investment into industry-leading digital asset management. So they are really going after the whole digital asset management market, which was fairly legacy overall. And now there is going to be substantial adoption of this. There are a lot of headless platforms that were trying to create very similar experience as this, but I don't know if they are going to be as meaningful. I would say these guys are probably going to get much better market share than those guys, because they would require a lot more work in general. This is going to be much easier compared to them, and you're probably going to have similar flexibility. I mean, for DAM use cases, I don't know how much flexibility you are going to need. It's probably okay for DAM use cases. They have things such as your data shuttle, data mesh, dynamic view. All of those capabilities are very similar to your Monday.com Airtable. They had different names, features, but the capabilities are very similar. For example, data shuttle, they are talking about that they extract employee data from its ERP system. Data mesh is going to be combining all of those data sets, because those spreadsheets are not necessarily connected. And then view is going to be really the collaboration aspect of that. So these are three different major features that all of these 4 platforms have. All right, so we'll open up for commentary right now. You cannot do any more slides, I guess. Andy, do you want to go?
Sure. It was very, very interesting show today, Sam. You're mentioning Fox Sports in Australia. My goodness, 10,000. What is it? 1,000 live sporting events every year. I mean, Special Olympics. My goodness.
Yeah,
that's incredibly huge.
Yeah.
The Emirates flight catering, that really blew me away.
Yeah.
Because they're what is it, 10,000, what is it, 225,000 meals a day?
Yeah.
Like, how do you schedule all that? Like, this tool just makes, it's so amazing. And it's, the other thing that I thought was interesting is when you mentioned that, we always talk about staying in your lane.
Yeah.
Right. And products like MS Project are great with dependencies and things like that for individual single projects. That's not what Smartsheet is for. It's collaboration.
Yeah.
And they are exceptional.
Yes.
There was comment about fluidity of security. I'm not sure if I understood that, but I'm assuming that meant that you have flexibility.
Ad hoc processes, probably, yeah. If you are going to have formal standardized processes, it's probably not the best tool.
Right, and maybe the formalized processes are going to restrict you at some level.
That is the intent of the formalized processes. When when you want some sort of structure, when you want traffic rules, the question is: do you want traffic rules or do you not want traffic rules?
Well, or at where do you stop?
Yeah,
right? That's the thing.
There's a balancing act.
All or nothing, right?
Yeah,
but very impressive. It's a great product.
Great briefing, by the way, Andy. Good job there. Shrestha, what do you have?
I just have a question, like when it's competing with softwares like Monday.com, what do you think like actually makes it a little bit different from it? Or I mean, um,
My take on this is going to be that these guys are really penetrated into the project management community. Monday.com, even though that is used by PMO organizations, project managers are probably going to like a Smartsheet a lot more, just because it was always designed for those kind of workflows. So it's about what people and companies relate with, I would say. Their natural experience. What do they want to see? They would not like Monday.com as much as they would like a Smartsheet, just because they always operated in spreadsheets. Monday.com has slightly different interface, I would say. And that's why it's sort of in between. They are all over the place. And that's why they are probably attacking CRM market compared to everybody else. I don't know if anybody else is attacking CRM market. They are the only.
That's why Monday.com advertises.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else, guys? All right, guys. So that's it for today. If you joined for the first time, this was part of our industry series for which we meet every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys are going to be here next week. We are going to come back with another vendor or the solution. On that note, thanks everyone for tuning in today.
Thank you.